Hello there and welcome. It's Psychic Cynthia here, spiritual Psychic Cynthia Killian, sending you good vibes and blessings from the other side. This is your Friday forecast, and we'll be looking at for the next couple of weeks ahead. And this is Friday, March 12th, or will be when this video comes out. So welcome. And as we're approaching mid-March here, we're still in the energies of Pisces, which is a time of letting go. In fact, this Saturday, so just a day after this video will come out, so that's going to be Saturday, March 14th, we're going to have the new moon at 23 degrees Pisces. And this tells us that even though the tides are beginning to turn back to warmth and activity and taking initiative, we are still, for some time yet, in a cycle of cleansing. And especially right around the time of this weekend's new moon and up until the equinox, and I would even say until the full moon later this month. So basically, right now, when you watch this video, and all the way up until around March 28th, which is essentially the rest of this month. So what we're looking at here, what you're looking at in your life, dear one, is that what you want to look at is where do you need to cleanse, where do you need to let go, where do you need to release, where do you need to shed unnecessary baggage and energy so that you can clear yourself out and make space for new energy, for new opportunity. This is what this time right before the official start of spring is all about. You want to think about it too on many different levels. This is why we practice spring cleanses. Do you do any type of spring cleansing? I know I do. I just recently took a fast. It was just a short fast. It was short for me, 36 hours. Forgive me, it's windy today. Well, don't forgive me, forgive the wind. Hopefully I won't blow away. But one of the things you can do to get more spiritually clear as we're coming up on the new moon in Pisces, to help you let go emotionally, okay? To help you move towards the rebirth on the equinox. One of the things you can do is to undertake some type of cleanse. Now listen, I know not everybody can, fast for 36 hours of just water, like I did, or water and tea. But even if you're not able to do that, maybe you can lower the amount of food that is eaten for a while. I think fasting looks different for different people. It is nice if we can just slow down and, give the digestion some rest. And here's the thing, this isn't just a physical fast. When you do this, or it can be more than that. For me, it's a spiritual fast. When I fast from food, I am feasting on spirit. And I am spending more time in the days that I'm fasting paying attention, staying aware. It's not like I have to meditate all day long, like sitting down. But when you're fasting, however you do it, remember to spend extra time, or just try to be extra aware. Spend extra time in meditation or doing your affirmations. So really what we're talking about here, this isn't fasting. So, okay, there's two parts to it. There's the cleansing that you're needing to do with this new moon and the letting go. And this can be accomplished more easily if you'll do some kind of fast. It can also be accomplished more easily if you'll do some kind of purification bath. And I'm a big fan of taking the consecrated sea salt baths. But you can also brew up any kind of bath tea, depending on, what you think you're needing to cleanse from, how you think you're needing. There's many herbs that can be used. And yes, they can be used dried. So we're going to let that rest for now. I have other videos about that, and I've done a lot of writings, but you can Google that if you want. But consecrated sea salt baths are a good way to go. So that's one level of what we're looking at here, how we're preparing for the spring rebirth. Hopefully in this week ahead and in the next couple of weeks. Remember, between now and the full moon at the end of the month, March 28th, maybe the day after. This is your time, optimal time for cleansing and releasing and letting go and getting ready for that spring rebirth. And in addition to the cleansing, you want to do, that spiritual feasting that I'm talking about, which is the building, the rebuilding of your energy. And so as we cleanse, say you do a cleanse of a day or two, or a fast. Maybe you eat just a lot lighter, or maybe you do like I did and just do the water and tea fast, or however it works for you. Some people do juice fast. I mean, don't do anything too crazy, okay? I know there's some crazy cleanses out there, and I don't recommend those, okay? I think really being hard on your body and pushing it too hard is not a good idea. Most people don't need that. So we're just talking about something light and gentle that you can do. So that's the cleansing part, but then there is the rebuilding part, and just like after you've been cleansing, you become more selective. If you fast for a day or two and you don't eat anything, when you go off your fast, it's not like you just start eating a bunch of junk food, hopefully. The first thing I eat when I'm off the fast is usually some form of fruit or vegetable, or it might just be fruit juice, something very easily digestible, and then I kind of ease my way back into food, and it's a good time when you've been cleansing, however you're doing it. It's a good time afterwards to start thinking about new patterns that you want to rebuild in. So I find that after I've been fasting, whatever time of year, but especially now, I'm going to be eating, lighter foods. And that's good to do in the spring, by the way. For those of you who are watching this who are in the northern hemisphere, you want to prepare yourself for this spring transition that we're having by eating a little lighter. That is harmonious with the natural cycles. Most of us eat more meat, more dairy, we eat heavier, even if we don't eat those. Let's say you're a vegan. Let's face it, most of us eat more sweets during the holiday season, whatever our particular diet is. So we need a time to bring in, especially some of the fresh greens. The best is if you can gather the fresh greens wild from your own yard or your own area. And I'm pretty lucky. Dandelions grow in abundance, near me, and all kinds of fresh spring greens, plantain and wild lettuce and other things that you can eat for cleansing. So now listen, if you're going to go out and pick wild greens, make sure you know what you're doing so you don't eat something poisonous. Otherwise, just stick with the health food store, okay? But yes, think about this, as a twofold process with the Pisces new moon coming up tomorrow on March 13th, and then the equinox. It's the rebirth, but what do you want your rebirth to look like? And do you really want to have a rebirth? You can't be reborn if you are still clinging to the old life. So do some cleansing of some kind in the next week ahead. Sage your house, clean your aura, take a purification bath. And yes, if you're able to, do consider a fast. It's one of the best ways to keep the aura clear and free. And not to mention it can be helpful to the physical body. And again, I know not everybody can do it because of health concerns, but if you're able to, if your health is well enough, you might want to try it. And even if your health isn't well, if you're able to do it without killing yourself or harming yourself, it could be a good thing. So think about creating that opening, and then also think about what you're going to rebuild with. Like I mentioned, the spring greens and eating those, and just bringing more light into your diet. And also, especially, I want you to think way beyond diet, okay? I'm talking about diet because I think most people can relate to that on a core physical level. But think about the diet of your mind. And what are the new habits you're going to bring in? What are you going to do less of? What kind of media or social media or information are you going to pay less attention to because it's been weighing you down or poisoning you? And what are you going to pay more attention to? What's going to feed you in the season ahead? That's what we want to concentrate on. So remember, you're cleansing and you're clearing out, and then you're rebuilding all over again. How do you want to rebuild yourself? That's what you want to think about and meditate upon and ask your guides for help with in these weeks ahead. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this Friday forecast, and I'll be back next Friday, and there might be some other videos in between relating to other topics. Thank you so much for watching these videos on this channel. Thank you for spending time here with me. And if you'd like to support the channel in other ways, you can certainly check out the links below in the comments. Check out my courses, private readings. I even have a donation set up through PayPal. But mostly I just appreciate you being here, and thank you for watching. And if you feel so led, leave a comment about how you're cleansing, what you're doing, and maybe something about what you're rebuilding, what you want to build in the season ahead. Until next time, I'm sending you all love, peace, and blessings from the other side and the cosmic light. Bright blessings.